So our comp is really good at sustaining dives. Pretty much everyone on our comp, other than you, as the Sojourn player, is good at sustaining dives. Which
Yeah,
means
that's
that
like it's like something I've struggled with a lot, where I just like fly too much. I don't know if I'm like late with reacting to the monkey going on me, or if I'm out of position, or if I should just wait longer, or like what I'm supposed to do. What you're
um
supposed to do with that.
so I guess it would definitely be situational. There are different ways that we can play both in terms of micro and macro. Remember, you are the poke character, so you're more than likely going to be fairly split in terms of the angles that you're looking for. Just
Yeah,
make sure that you're in slidable range to your team so we can stack and sustain it through that. However, we could also keep this in mind and play for baits, you know what I mean? Like have you out deliberately in a diveable place. If we set that up correctly, you would know how to rotate or away earlier, for example, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, if we actually set you up in a place where you're meant to be dived, you can see them setting up for the dive, and then you can just slide back and stack, and then that will delay their plan slightly. If they dive in your original position, even better. If they don't, they have another like 3 or 5 seconds like of planning time. Okay, Sojourn moved. We now need to think of a next target to go on to. And it's very
yeah.
hard to actually int onto a team with Orisa and Kiriko and Reaper that are all stacked. We're basically playing like an Overwatch 2 form of bunker, right? Um, with an off angle and high sustain.
Yeah, what I did for a while is I think I wasted my E a bit too much. Like especially when I feel like I'm more threatened.
Yeah.
I should be saving it more for like when people try to engage me. Like when I see the monkey jump, I can just eat my feet and slide away. It's gonna be harder for him to like follow up on me.
Mhm. So this angle's fine because you're fairly stacked, and you do have to an extent an off angle. I think that slow is a bit weird. That E there.
Yeah,
It's really good for zoning and slowing people down, right? If you catch someone in your E, you can shoot at them. Your shots become easier to hit because they're slower. Same applies to your right click. If someone's in your E, you shouldn't really be missing the headshot on them, right? Unless they're
yeah.
popping something. Um, so because it's so good for zoning, why don't you just put the slow here?
Mm-hmm.
They're directly through the choke. They have to now pass through it or wait. Realistically, they won't wait here because then their monkey is split and their monkey dies. They will literally all fully commit, and in doing so, they would have to walk through. Um, but yeah, so this is a slight angle. I like how you're focusing the Sojourn, or at least attempting to.
Yeah. Like what's up's been like trying to play this or play against like the monkey compass stuff with the wristers that we play like really stacked for bits. So like I think it's to like help me live because when we have the Reaper, obviously the monkey diving into us if we're stacked and we have Reaper like going into him, Lucio
Yeah,
Lucic and Ursa dude whatever. It's like he just does not just doesn't live that. And then
yeah, yeah.
with the Tracer, they just don't have enough like frontline pressure or whatever like they would with the Reaper.
Mhm.
So it should be like easy to do that. It's just kind of unfortunate Gucci dies here.
Yes, but I'm just thinking now. They don't have a whole bunch of poke. They just have the Kiriko and the Sojourn, right? And technically
Yeah.
Tracer, there is this pressure. I wouldn't really describe her as poke because she does have to play fairly close. Um, but she can play to a pokey play style. I'm just trying to think how the enemy Sojourn. Do you notice how the enemy Sojourn is taking a lot more aggressive angle than you are? Obviously
Yeah.
the comps are different, so it would differ. She knows that we have nothing to jump on her, so she can afford to do this. But I think Seb needs to think more carefully about the poke because Orisa is actually one of the worst tanks for helping their team rotate in terms of going into poke. Like she can
Yeah.
body block, yeah, but it's not like a defense matrix or a Reinhardt shield or uh, you know what I mean, or an actual thing. It's not an actual
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we would not want to really pop the spin on rotation because that's what we use to relieve pressure of the monkey quite often, right? So your whole situation, in my opinion, a lot of your job has to be negating the enemy sojourn damage because
Yeah.
if you guys if you can solely focus on enemy Sojourn and enemy Sojourn focuses on you, that's a neutral. It now becomes a 4v4. If the enemy team also wants to int onto you, then our team just turns and ints onto them because we can brawl fairly easily as we have a Lucio Kiriko and a Reaper, and to an extent an Orisa is sort of a brawl hybrid, right? We
Yeah.
have the stuns on this comp with the Orisa, etc., etc. We have the damage output, we have the sustain. You're the only character, like I said, that should find it easy to die. And I do think, and that wasn't a mistake, I do mean easy to die, like you're the only character that can really die. But if you think about it, like, if you compare your ult charge, your 8% to the enemy 20%, um, you can see that they are doing better for the poke output. They're dealing more damage, basically. But yeah. It's not really... It's not really your job to mark that tracer that hard. When I go to like pre or mid fight structure with the team, I'll probably tell Reflect, because Reflects, he gets his value from cooldowns, right? So why doesn't Reflect mid fight actually hard focus on marking the tracer? So you're marking the Sojourn, he's marking the tracer. Do you see what I mean? Whilst
Yeah. Yeah.
the rest of the team are actually outputting damage to the front line. So to be
Yeah.
fair, I feel like the reason why you're struggling to get value is a lack of macro knowledge from the team, which I'll have to work on with them. The fight was already lost. Sorry if I am focusing too much on the team play, but I do think that it's important to give
Yeah.
advice to a Sojourn in relation to her team, right?
Yeah. I think it's like mostly with this comp against something like they're playing that I struggle with like
Yeah.
the most. Because it's like you say, where I'm just like the only thing that can kind of die.
Mhm.
Like if they have follow up on a dive with me, there's just not much I can do unless my team
Yeah.
hard kills for me.
We're standing to, not you, but just Seb is standing to in the open. We're taking way too much poke.
Yeah. I think
Ah,
that's something Thomas commented on the streamer. He
I'm
felt
gonna
like he
pause.
was just like healing all the time.
What did you say?
I think that's something Thomas commented on during the scrim. Like he felt like he just had to heal all the time because we just took so much poke.
Just trying
Like
to think of
before
poke
anything even
changes.
happened.
Yeah, I think we don't run this comp on this map, honestly. I think we should play this comp on this map against maps that are typically brawl maps, but we know that the enemy team are still gonna run monkey just because it's meta, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
maybe what's it called? Mecha base. Maybe
Yeah.
mecha base, it's more viable. Although even that map isn't the greatest example because there's still like a lot of poke potential on that map, right?
Yeah.
That slow was fine. I like that. You don't need to stack so hard. Um, I'm
And
just
once
trying
the
to.
Sojourn is dead, I think I can be like a lot more free with what I do.
Oh no, for sure, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I'm just trying to think. When we're actually at an advantage and the fight flips to a cleanup on our side, I'm just thinking about where you can get value as opposed to other people. Sojourn is good because she assists with the cleanup from range, right?
Yeah.
Only Orisa can do that, and to an extent like Kiriko, but not very consistently. Orisa and Sojourn can do that fairly consistently. So I was wondering if you maybe didn't have to stack, if maybe you tried to catch people on rotation back here as opposed to actually stacking on the point itself. But we'll play it out. I have no issue with what you're doing at the same time. Might want to pop a slow. How did that even? Oh, okay, no, it did hit.
I wanted to put it on like the.
Yeah, 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 on the bubble.
Bubble,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, that would have been a fine E. I have no
Should
issue
be
with
like,
that E.
yeah. Because if they're on point, it should be like the easiest place to kill.
Yeah.
I just want to get off the bubble.
I don't mind that. I don't mind it at all. You did manage to pressure them, but it is kind of risky. And know when to disengage. Yeah, that was another thing that I was gonna say. That's a fine rotation. They're playing for angles because it's the only thing they can do.
I think I'm like really passive here. I feel like I'm just like not doing anything.
But the whole team, this is the thing, right? Because our whole team in this situation is forced to be passive other than the Orisa and you because they're the only two poke characters.
Yeah.
The issue with isolating here, I was thinking you'd get more value from playing, I don't know, just a slightly split angle, but the issue with isolating is the fact that they're running a tracer. So I think in this situation, stack, honestly just stack. You have your ult, there's no point in you dying right now, especially when they have point advantage. If we can manage to force them onto point, or some, like, if we can just survive until they're forced to force point and we can just int on them in close quarters, then that might even be an advantage for us. Now they're forcing point, like I said. You can afford, right, do you see in this position how you can afford to be the last person that rotates onto point?
Yeah.
Because Monkey is never gonna like jump over their heads to int onto you, and if he does, like, your Reaper is still like a close enough range and you might die, but we'll play for trades. So right now you can just stay here and you can control this angle, and what's good about this position is you can slide onto point. You're in range with one singular slide.
Yeah.
Nice. I will say that they've been very clumped. Like the Lucio's been peeking you quite a lot, and you've had your E up for a while and you haven't popped it. So look for the more aggressive E's. Because people might view it as a trigger. People might see that, oh, someone's in E. Realistically, by the time Lucio gets out of the E, plus your damage, plus the E's damage, he'll be around half. You're a railgun shot away from killing him, in my opinion, if you catch that Lucio in the E correctly. So, just look for... Right, try and... Okay, now Monkey's jumping on you, you slide towards your Reaper. Or you... Okay, that's fine, that's fine. I do think, you slid for no reason. After you realize Monkey disengaged, you slid afterwards, which is weird.
Yeah, I think what I wanted to do here
was go wide and then...
yeah, well, I wanted to go here and ult because I thought we could live on point. I don't know what happened to Seb though, actually. He did just die.
Oh, he died early.
He did.
He died early.
I don't think I realized that.
Yeah. We're down a lot.
Yeah, I think this is like a most better point.
I think you should separate your E usage between E's that help you and E's that help your team. Obviously, zoning, splitting Monkey off, etc. that will help your team, whereas like E's on yourself whilst you're getting dove, or E's to make a shot easier for you, you know what I mean? Like, you can use E's selfishly or you can use them like collaboratively with your team.
Yeah.
And I think you should look for both. Nice. Oh.
I just missed this guy 16 times in a row. The fucking
Jesus
tree, like,
Christ. That's really bad. But I won't comment on mechanics in a VOD because, you know what I mean, you know that was bad. But I don't think there was an issue with the timing of the ult itself. I don't think there was an issue with that. I think you popped
like
it
if I kill him there, it's like a...
Yeah, if you kill him, it's good because he's out of position and he was literally AD strafing behind a tree. That's how you know that he knows as well that he's mispositioned like crazy.
He knows. Not be there.
Sorry, I was just on my phone. I do think you would benefit a lot more from macro coaching as opposed to micro coaching, because Sojourn is a self-explanatory character. But if you know how to play the poke, you know how to. If you know how to play Ash, you know how to play Sojourn. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Sojourn is like a busted Ash, more mobility, more one-shot potential poke. You know what I mean? He's Sojourn is literally like an Ash soldier hybrid, and in itself, like they um, play very similarly, looking for angles, looking to isolate, looking to just poke and pressure. But I think you need to put more emphasis on the matchup. So emphasis onto shooting the enemy Sojourn, for sure. And I typed this to you. Remember when I
Yeah,
typed
I
it to
remember.
you mid
Yeah,
scrim and
yeah,
then
I
you did
remember
it
you
and then
saying
we were
that.
winning maps? I was just like, oh, look at me go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've been trying to do that a bit more.
yeah, no, I've noticed that you
In
have.
terms of like, in terms of like, just getting something onto her. Like, not always even trying to like get the one shot or whatever, but just forcing something like making sure that she can't like go as aggressive as she'd like to maybe. Because I feel like when we play the Orisa, it's something I've noticed. Like when I play against an Orisa, I can just go like wherever the fuck I want to.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing really stopping me. Like if I were to flank left side alone here, I would be instantly dead because they have fucking Lucio, Monkey, Tracer,
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
all of this shit. So I guess like with Orisa, you just don't have that option, or with Orisa Reaper even. Like you can just play poke for.
I think it's
So
good
long.
for Arcom to potentially set up here because there's a lot of cover if they decide to play for full poke.
Yeah, what we
Um,
usually try to do here is like we take, or I take a bit of an angle and we try to roll top.
mhm. I like this position because it's actually severely underrated. This drop, the drop, and then we play for point in here, similar to
Oh, I remember this. We play here like yeah.
Nepal
Don't know if
Sanctum,
you remember.
how
Yeah.
we can play off the side of the point and also just hard int onto point if we want. And all they can
Yeah.
really do that can get us behind these walls is maybe like Sojourn E, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have nothing. It's not like they have a dynamite or a nade that can literally just hit us for free. Um, we can focus on our rotations, and I think Seb's calls are really good, but he might need to work on his rotational, just pathways really. Think less about, or he needs to think more about taking less poke. So right now, nice. I do like how you switch target. Nice, nice. You're doing well. Switched again. Nice. Target switching is really good. And now to, yeah, I understand that, to keep your charge. See, these Seb rotations aren't bad. However, he's not really, he's still rotating in the open. I do like how he played really evasively. Because if we play evasive, it's fine, it's fine. They want to shorten the distance and then we excel at short range regardless. So
Yeah.
that rotation wasn't awful. I give it like a solid 7 out of 10 from Seb. Uh,
What do you think about that? E?
uh,
This one.
oh yeah, no, I like that.
It's like I'm not sure if I should, because I just do it completely reactively there, just assuming he's gonna go on me.
uh-huh.
And I don't know if
So you don't know if
me
you should
using
wait.
either was a deterrent or if I should have waited and thrown it like further because he was not like going on me.
I mean, you could do either, really. I don't have an issue at all. I mean, it logically it makes sense for him to jump on you, right? So I don't even mind the fact that you did instinctively pop the E. You could have
Yeah.
potentially put it in the middle of your team, and your team will react. One sec. Um, yeah. So if you put the E in the middle of team, your team will instinctively know to play around it. Basically, is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking here. Like looking back at it now, where like when the monkey jumps me, he just isn't like focusing me at all. So if I should do that, reactively or wait it out a bit more? Because I think it's kind of like situation dependent. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know, like your opinion on it.
Um, I think they're all viable. Honestly, they're all viable. The E is really strong when you're getting dove upon. All viable. I think maybe just an E like roughly in the middle, not necessarily on where he is right now. That would be good. But at the same time, if he was to dive on you there in that situation, then the E on yourself would have been the better play. So that's why I'm saying like you could even play the E's for deterrent. Maybe even put the E on your team if you deem that the person like Kiriko, for example, is a more valuable dive target for them. And you don't want them to use their cooldowns so soon. You could probably put the E on them so they dive on you, and then you can just try and play evasively and hope that you managed to survive before, so like you managed to survive for longer than they actually do, and just play for the trades that way. Typically in this situation, I would try and think about who's actually there. Um, I would say that Monkey is never gonna die here, just simply because he's getting assisted by Mayo. Mayo's Kiriko. I don't know why I said Mayo. Um, so you instead of shooting, trying to burn him, he is realistically going to get that the invulnerability popped on him regardless. Like no matter how much damage you put on him, they're gonna pop it. So in my opinion, I probably take this time to look around. Not look around, but at least look. If you take one right turn, you notice that Lucio is now trying to hard int on you, and that Lucio now becomes killable. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
you can even see the Lucio right now, but you'll probably your eye focus is definitely not gonna be there.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's not much.
uh,
Can I even see him like in game? Because I don't see the health bar, right? I don't think I can.
no,
Because the health bar isn't.
you wouldn't be able to see the health bar right now. Yeah, no, yeah, literally. But yeah, I would take a moment to. I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
look.
okay,
The
okay.
reason why I would look on the high ground is because I would be thinking about contesting Sojourn right now. Because remember, mid fight, how mid fight works is people are naturally out of cover, and that mid fight is where the majority of Sojourn picks take place because people are naturally out of position, and people will always be out in the open at one point. So okay, I would be like, monkey is diving. Monkey will not die until we at least see a Suzu. So I would try and hard contest the Sojourn once again, in my opinion.
Yeah,
No one's gonna criticize you for not shooting the thing that the team are targeting, in my opinion, because
yeah.
the bulk of the damage comes from the Reaper. The things will die. Things will die if Reaper is shooting at them, and it's very rare that your damage output will make the difference in that situation. So what you should do is try and negate value from enemy team as opposed to actually trying to burn Monkey, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Suzu gets popped, like I said. And even now, you're still trying to look at the Monkey when there's a high chart. Okay, fair, 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 fair. Again, I still, even though you got the pick, I still don't believe that hard focusing Monkey was the play. But knowing comms, Seb was probably screaming for Monkey's name, wasn't he? Like knowing Seb. Um, okay, fair, fair, fair. I did think it was slightly dangerous because, as you saw when you were shooting the Monkey, the Sojourn was set up here, high charge. You literally could have got picked off, and that might have changed if you were um, putting pressure on her. And I'm gonna keep an eye on Monkey's health bar. Monkey's health bar. Seb no abilities. To be fair, genuinely, I think Monkey lives if you didn't shoot him there. So I'm not gonna question that all that much. I actually think Monkey would have lived if you didn't railgun him, but okay. Now you're out of position. Do you see how you're out of position?
No,
Because
like there's like nothing for me.
this position doesn't really help you at all.
Yeah.
Although you're stacked on point, you have poor LOS. The enemy have good LOS onto you. You're not contesting any space that's not already controlled by your team. Uh,
I think this is the point on like for where I struggle because I can't really take anything alone, and my team can't really commit a bunch of resources to help me take anything. So I
But
just get stuck in this room with my team for the rest of the game.
is it this room that's a spawn door? Our spawn door. Is that our spawn? I think that's our spawn.
No, 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 it's the other one.
It's the other one that's our spawn.
I think so.
So I think here is a good position to hold on Sojourn. Obviously, Greece is there and Mayo's there. But if people
The thing is,
are,
if I hold there, like my team is called at this point to
yeah,
inside the room. So if I hold there alone, I just feel like I die, like no matter what. Like I just don't have enough time to get help from my team.
yeah.
And
I'm
then-
just
and
speaking
then
generally.
he's- Yeah.
I was speaking generally, but I was gonna say like the fact that they managed to flip the map so easily means that we made faults beforehand, and basically even though we won the fight and got point, we basically didn't put ourselves in a good situation for the upcoming fights. So if we call to play on room, to be fair, call to play on room down here isn't a bad isolation for us. Down here is not awful because it's still a extremely long rotation time for them to actually get to you. You'll be able to poke them on rotation, and once they're actually in range of us, our team always has the option to come out and meet them. And also because bearing in mind if they're rotating, that also means that we have rotation time. We can poke them out slightly. You can slide to at least down here, and by here you'll be able to get peeled fairly easily. So this is the isolation that I would probably try and go for. Maybe not all the way up these stairs because I don't know what route they're gonna take. But if you do want to actually get value from the poke and feel like you're doing something, I would probably play on our spawn around here. Everything that I just said is not really applicable in this specific situation because they managed to get 4 points all around the corner on us somehow. But yeah, so now the call is to stack under room, and we should probably stack under the room because they've taken so many angles on us.
Yeah.
Again, Seb just standing in the open for no reason.
Yeah. I get kind of scared from here. That's why I go up. I think. So like I know if he just keeps standing there and nothing happens, and you kind of just lose.
We could really
Like-
nicely stabilize in this room.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Not much really.
Okay, cool. And we just wait it out.
I just thought I like struggle to play from here a lot.
No, I think you're doing all that you can do, to be honest. I think you're doing fairly well.
No, but that's what I mean though. Like, even though I do all I can, it's like I'm not
Nice.
really doing a lot.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
the
not
thing
enough
is,
shots.
you say we're not doing a lot. We're holding point perfectly. Our plan is working as we intended, right?
Yeah.
So even though you seem like you're having downtime, you're not having downtime at all because you were constantly pressuring. You got a pick. You were the one person that got a pick with the worst sightline in the team. So if anything, you're doing the most, other than Seb, who's actually being our space holder, and maybe Kiriko that
Yeah.
popped
I feel like it's
the.
kind of just bad play from enemies. Like if they just contest points, we lose. Like they just force out 7 as abilities, then we just fall over and die because we have no option to. Like once Seb dies, our entire plan just crumbles. Right?
What they have to do is monkey touch point whilst the rest of their team just stay disciplined and take angles so we can't physically contest them without taking damage from all sides. That's how you would counterplay our strategy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's like really stupid for this Sojourn to play there.
However, then we could try and attempt to counterplay this strategy by... Ah, Alucio's dead. Yeah. I was gonna say, okay, the second monkey touches point, we just full brawl the monkey, and then we could literally just force him out and then rotate back. You know what I mean? Like, could just play in, out, in, out. But that would require quite a lot of coordination, but it's definitely doable in this situation. Definitely doable. That was a nice E. Not bad. Just try and get that. Nice, not bad. If you want to eat a point, eat a point. Well played, and now the shots become easier. Well, they should have become easier. Ah, you should have stayed earlier. Remember, you always got to contest for as long as possible, but it's fine. It would have only been an extra 2% or something like that.
I don't know if it was this fight or the next one, but we called to rotate like into the little hole.
In my opinion, I don't like the Reaper in this comp, you know. What's your opinion on that? Do you like Reaper on this comp?
Mm,
Because yes, it
not
helps
big.
with the bunker,
Yeah,
but
I'm
if...
not a big Reaper fan in general, just because I don't like the hero. But
Yeah, literally same.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much it helps Seb, because I think everything we're doing, or a lot of the things we're doing, is just kind of helping Seb try to win frontline, and I think Reaper is pretty good at that.
But we're never
I'm
really
not really
winning
sure.
the
I don't,
front.
because I don't know like what else you'd play. Because if you play the Tracer, there's like not really a lot of follow up or a lot of things you can do other than following up on spears and like one shots from me, which is like kind of odd. Like with a monkey, you have an entire big gorilla just jumping in the back line with you, but you don't have that same thing with Orisa.
I'm just thinking...
Because we play this with the with Torb sometimes. Like you'll see next time we play Torb.
What,
with
instead of Reaper?
Sometimes instead of Reaper, sometimes instead of Sojourn.
No, in my opinion, the Torb is better. Like, it sounds scuffed, but the way that I'm thinking about the strategy itself, like, why don't we just try and match them for poke and go with a second poke DPS and then have um our Orisa as literally just the person that holds space and outlives enemy tank. So our DPS can match their DPS for poke whilst our tank can outlive the enemy tank. Do you see what I'm saying? We can still rotate um our tank around with our backline and things probably wouldn't die. And I reckon we could still like out damage Monkey enough to force him out just from afar. And having Torb, that's three angles on the DPS as opposed to 2 angles on the DPS because he could hold a different angle with his turret. Um, but at the same time, like I don't know if that's just like a quirky little throw pick, but I don't know. I just don't think we're. To be fair, this isn't our usual Reaper player, right?
No,
This
he's
isn't our
he's a ringer.
yeah. So
I also think he's a little bit out of speed from what I know.
yeah.
I don't know him that much.
But that's
Yeah.
just my
He
observation.
yeah. I just took a pot shot there because I know I have my ult if I need to like actually go somewhere.
E, pop your
went
E.
like too far here.
Yeah.
Yeah, E is like really nice there. If I get it on the stairs, I think it's really good.
Remember, you can get just as much value from separating yourself as you can from, um, you know, stacking yourself. Okay.
Yeah, I think like the biggest mistake I made there was like sliding too far. Like if I stay on top of this, like on top of our stairs, and then I eat theirs, I think that's like such an easy fight for me.
Like, based on what I said about the mid fight, how things are more out of position in the mid fight could even be worth initially stacking and then looking to break away for the mid fight when you realize that the monkey dive is not focused on you.
Yeah,
So if
it's
you
something I do sometimes. Like it's what I did on the sanctuary when Seb died like first originally. That was like the plan there,
but it would be better if you could do that before Seb dies. You see what I'm saying?
yeah. That's like that was like my plan, but I just didn't realize he died. So this is when we just dropped it a bit. Oh.
But this
Kinda
is
unfortunate like
kind
this.
of passive considering we don't have point control. I prefer it when we do have point control. Oh my god, we forced Yuzu. Sorry, I just want to play this back a sec.
I completely lost track of the monkey there.
I'm looking at Reflex POV for the B.
Oh yeah. The call here was to like rush out with beats at the same time. That's why I probably shouldn't have gone out either way, but yeah, that was the call.
Doesn't it make more sense for Reflect to just int on Sojourn here?
Yeah.
Probably.
Lucio player.
As opposed to focusing, because that makes your job easier. If our Lucio is marking their Sojourn, then you can focus on the monkey dying, right?
Yeah. If their Sojourn is contested, I think I'm so free here.
Yeah, that's why, that's the only reason why I'm saying maybe we should go for another poke character
Yeah.
for the DPS, because I don't mind playing for another poke, because that's another thing that they have to dive on, right? And if we play extremely isolated with multiple things poking at them, that means that they now have to dive 2 or 3 times in the fight as opposed to just one, if we're separating ourselves and poking them and just trying to burn them throughout. But that's easier to do with a Discord, and obviously Zen isn't viable because they got rid of the Break Bash. But but yeah, um, unfortunate. I'll play that back because I didn't actually focus on you. But we just get primal mid fight. Fine. Oh, that's so unfortunate. And we had good ults as well. That fight was winnable if we got the touch. Fight was
So.
very winnable if we got the touch.
We get some Torb gameplay here, I think. I don't know if I do it right away.
Listened to your album the other day.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Torb is quite easy to coach, to be fair.
At this point, I think it was kind of a bit memey.
Did we win this map?
Yes. We won with Torb against Farah.
Hmm. So we've gone hog.
Yeah. This start's kind of bad. I should place it like Gucci is right now. It's better to like support everything.
Typically, you don't want to play like stacked on your turret unless you're using it to like
Yeah.
body block you. You know what I mean? Which is also viable, but just spam. That's fine. That's spam. Now let's see where you put up your turret. Was that for scouting purposes? Or was it just a random turret placement for when they touch point? Because you're gonna have multiple turrets, right? You might as well place one. The 2 pre-fight turrets would be to with the intention of poke or the intention of scouting, like enemy traces, etc., etc. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even having a turret as simple as like pointed as at main, or this would be a more scouty one pointed. Let's say if we were to have it around here, it could poke at main when they're out a certain distance, but it could also poke down that sight line. You see what I'm saying?
I
Think
feel
what
like that's. I feel like that's kind of awkward though.
what in terms of actually
Uh,
rotating there and then rotating back before they end up fighting.
Yeah, like a few
Yeah.
ways. Like if I want to rotate over there, so either of those turret positions, I have to rotate there and
Mhm.
back. And then
Yeah,
my
no, it's
question
true.
is, I don't have as many options to have a turret that's like in mid fight.
In mid
Like where
fight.
my turret is now, I think it's
Mhm.
pretty good against what they're going, because like the echo can just spam down the turret pretty easily if I put it somewhere. So I think that is like a pretty decent turret to.
It is true, but I'm also thinking about stage of
Like if their echo
fight.
goes aggressive, I think that turret is like really good against that.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I'm also just considering stage of fight poke, trying to actually get ult charge as opposed to, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like actual mid fight.
Yeah, no, I get that. But, it's just like my concern with putting the turrets.
Mhm.
Because I don't think I have the option to put it there. If I do it in the pit.
There are multiple different places. You could even technically put it there, put it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, if you want it to be concealed from the echo, and you want to play aggressive as well, behind this sign is viable because the echo is going to rotate or the echo is going to fly probably around this sort of area, and that turret will end up shooting. And it won't be an LOS from main. But that's why I like playing Torb, is because there's a whole bunch of like turret placements. There's no objective turret placement, and then where you fight is in relation to where you place the turret, as opposed to, you know what I mean, anything else. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
just trying to see. No, that's fine. Don't worry.
You're kind of scared to hook there, I think. I don't think I needed you to.
Pick. Just wait until your turret uptime, drop your turret, and then engage. Very well played. I don't mind this at all. Now wait until turret uptime. Nice, nice, nice. Well played, well played. Now we can set up our turret once more. Again, you're going for them touching point. That's fair.
I feel like when I play against the Echo or something like that with Torb, having a turret like that for when they go aggressive, I think is a lot more useful than say
Damn,
something that
one for
pokes a bit
poke.
more.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair.
because I feel like
I feel like
if
right
it-
now it's fine because you probably get your ult this fight anyway, right?
yeah.
Like, you don't necessarily need to poke, and you don't necessarily like, so it's fine.
Yeah,
I have
I
no
don't
issue
really
with it.
use my turret for poke them or for like getting ult charge that much.
You can
But
do,
that's
because
something
it's
with
not
my-
it's not necessarily bad, and it's not necessarily only. Remember, poke mid fight burns resources before the poke pre-fight burns resources before the fight actually begins, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just about ult charge. You get ult charge on the side, but poking pre-fight also burns resources, and that's sort of the point to it. But giving the Echo downtime where she's forced to shoot at your turret mid-fight isn't bad either. But yeah. Nice. Nice. You can take your time with your shots, you know that. you can line it up properly, you don't have to spam. That turret, I like that turret.
Yeah, it's just kind of to like support the mid fighter because
Yeah.
it's not really too much to stop it. I think we lose this fight somehow. I missed a few shots in the mercy.
The first shot was
I
kind of
almost
difficult
dodged
though.
this actually.
Unfortunate.
Never mind. I thought it was that bit. Never mind.
Do you reckon that they only switched because they knew that they were like hard winning the scrim, or do you think that playing Hog made them not want to run the monkey into it?
No, they did not want to run the monkey into this comp. They never swapped to meme this scrim. Because we beat them some maps, it was like a very even scrim all around. Like you
Yeah.
see the previous two maps weren't rolls like at all.
And to be fair, I know Frogger really like, they really try hard in scrims.
Yeah, no, this was just like really awkward for me against the Pharah. I
Yeah.
ended up going main here next to it. Because when they play the Sojourn there and the Pharah top, like there's just nothing for me to do.
That's fine. You could even go left and place a turret and then wait until team engages. You don't need to
think
play.
it's
Yeah,
fine.
the turret will die. The turret will die. So don't. Okay. Preemptively. I
was a
understand the
bit-
logic. I understand the logic.
It was a bit awkward, but yeah, it was a... Yeah. I'll get it back anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
played a bit too close. Could have played like further back and it wouldn't have been bad at all. It was just
Think
like I played in hope.
I think the fight's already lost, but or it was already lost at the time. Now we're just gaining
Yeah,
ults.
in the
This is
beginning.
fine. We send our tracer to touch if needed, or we just harden. This is good. This is really good. Nice. Nice. I have no issue with
Hit a
this.
shot.
I have no issue with your positioning though. And it's not even like you play Torb, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't expect you to be hitting shots like that. And now good ult on point.
My only Torb experience is queuing Torb for like 8 games at 3 a.m. No particular reason other than that I just feel like it.
But even then, like, we even switched off of Reaper for that comp to the Tracer. We had no hit scans in the far echo and we ended up winning, so. Oh, or no consistent hit scans. Technically, Tracer is a hit scan, isn't it? Yeah, so I just think with macro structure, you would be able to actually be more creative when it comes to um, Sojourn, flanks, etc., etc. Remember, Frog have been playing together for a while, and I coached them for a long time.
Yeah.
So their macro structure was already established. Amaterasu was the only player that wasn't there when I was coaching them.